The film explores very truthfully a relationship that was very supportive. They were both, Ruth and Marty, were incredibly devoted to their careers and almost to the point where the work life, there wasn't that separation. You know, their work was their life. In many ways, it was something they were so passionate about. And when they were in their 20s and they'd had Jane, Marty became very sick, and he was diagnosed with cancer. And we see that in the film, and we see them overcoming that and as a couple triumphing over some pretty difficult situations. It was a partnership in the sense that they took it in turns. You know, if one had a big brief that they were doing that evening, then the other would cook and take responsibility for that. And they didn't limit themselves by being these conventional 50s man and, you know, husband and wife, man and woman. And they were throwing all of that up in the air and going, no, that doesn't work for us. Research, when you're playing a real person, it comes with an enormous responsibility to understand who that person is, why they behave like they behave, but also, you know, on a more minute level, you know, do they wear nail varnish, and, you know, what time do they get up in the morning, and all those little details that in some ways the most fun in playing a real person, because you become like a forensic scientist. And I was very fortunate to meet Justice Ginsburg, and we met at her apartment in Washington, and it was a very moving encounter with her, having read everything there was to know about someone, and then meeting them and then being slightly speechless when you first meet them. I suddenly became very shy, actually, and feel just great respect for her. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is a true revolutionary. She has a fire in her belly, but her skill is in changing the law bit by bit and changing society's perception of the law so that great changes could happen. And it came from Ruth very painstakingly going through and just case by case showing that discriminating on the basis of gender was in no way a sensible thing, and that had to change. But the painstaking work and the method she took to do this is awe-inspiring. Jane and Ruth, Jane is the means with which Ruth understands how America is changing. And that is a huge theme in the film. It's about the state of America. It's about America at that time needing to shift and needing to adapt itself to a shifting generation. And you see that very much in the difference between Ruth's coming from the 1940s, 1950s, and then she looks at her daughter, who's the product of the 60s and 70s, and she's going, hold on, society's moved on, but the law isn't reflecting that, and the law's got to catch up. And through that, you know, through that sort of legal context, we also understand this beautiful relationship between a mother and daughter that has its tensions and difficulties, but is a very special relationship.
たった50年前のアメリカの話。女性はカードを作れない、仕事を選べない、家庭に入ることを強制されていた。
So they're going to give you a corner office?
I was told they hired a woman last year, and what in the world would they want with two of us?
平等な社会を作るため、弁護士ルース・ギンズバーグは立ち上がった。
Times have changed.
The ACLU is prepared to put their name on your brief.
Morality does not win the day. Look around you.
Please, if we could just
You
talk.
want to know how I blew it? Sorry, Professor Ginsburg, but the country isn't ready.
ルースが挑んだのは 100% 負けると言われた裁判だった。
Ginsburg, cancer, right? Let's put this idea to bed once and for all.
Read this one.
This is sex-based discrimination against a man. Let's topple the whole damn system of discrimination.
It's not a task for one person, especially if you have a day job.
Mr. Moritz, the law is wrong.
時代を変えた世紀の裁判を描く感動実話。
I know this case disrupted our lives. Who's it for, if not for me?
You're ready for this. You've been ready for this your whole life.
You're asking us to overturn nearly a century of precedent.
We're not asking you to change the country. We're asking you to protect the right of the country to change.
Believe 未来への大逆転。
Or cook dinner for their families.
Exactly. We're counting on you too.